Nice. Sharon.
Oh boy, it's gonna be one of those nights.
We couldn't have done anything better than that. I'll tell
No,
you.
that was classic. I hope that got recorded.
Oh, it's on.
Nice.
Chicken. Boing. It's a new intro. Oh. Live from Shipwreck Studios, it is Ozzy Osbourne Day. All aboard. Ha 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 ha. What's up?
Aye.
What's up, everybody?
Dun, 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 dun.
Today
dun.
is the special podcast for the celebration of the life of Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy, 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 Ozzy.
Right, everybody, let's rock.
Yeah, it was a year ago today that we got the news that Ozzy had left the building, passed away. You know, probably my favorite rock singer of all time, man. I grew up loving Ozzy. A lot of Ozzy stories, a lot of inspiration from Ozzy. You know, everybody, I think, all the fans and his family especially, were trying to say, hey, we're not going to make this a sad day. We want everybody to tell stories. We want everybody to talk about their dad, Sharon, her husband, and and a lot of people out there. Even Zach got in on it and said, hey, I want to tell some stories. He was the greatest guy ever. Yeah, it's cool, man. It's Ozzy Osbourne Day.
It is Ozzy
So,
Day.
The Knot guys here, we're all big Ozzy fans, big Black Sabbath fans. So we want to do our part, tell some stories, and engage about Ozzy.
Yeah, it's I'm wearing the shirt of Diary of a Madman for a reason.
Uh-huh.
That reason is it was my first Ozzy Osbourne solo album that I had purchased.
Nice.
I did not end up getting Blizzard of Oz until after Diary of a Madman, and I don't remember why. I remember Blizzard of Oz coming out, and I missed it. I think there was a year between them, 80 and 81, and for some reason, never got the Blizzard of Oz, which was an awesome album, and then I got the Diary of a Madman, and I don't think I ever turned it off.
Yeah. A lot of people wore out that vinyl, man. A lot of people wore out that vinyl.
Yep.
I actually had the CD.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get the vinyl, which I wish I would have. But, I got the CD, and I think I wore that out.
Yeah, man, it was
kind of hard to wear out a CD.
Well, no, when you put it on the record player. It
Well,
doesn't.
yeah, kind of scratchy.
Yeah, man, Ozzy was, funny story, back to the beginning. Black Sabbath was never really on my radar. I remember when I was a kid going to Cruisin' Music at Ford City and seeing the Never Say Die album, and I was like, what is this all about? This is a weird album cover. And I was a big Foreigner fan at the time. And then along came Blizzard of Oz, which was, for me, absolutely life-changing. The first time I heard that at a friend's house, man, I was out the next day at Cruisin' Music buying that album.
Nice.
And from that moment forward, every time Ozzy would release an album, I would have the guy at Cruisin' Music, I believe his name was Gary. Gary would hold the very first copy out of the box for me. And it was like a tradition. It was like a big tradition. And if any like promo copies came in or any picture discs or any of that stuff from back in the day, they would hold them for me. I had first crack at it, which I thought was really cool because they knew I was a huge Ozzy fan. Man, I bought so many Ozzy pins, Ozzy buttons, Ozzy posters. He was the guy, man. He was just, I loved his music, loved his voice. Diary of a Madman, my opinion. I mean, we can get into depth about some of the albums, some of the releases, but the Revelation Mother Earth solo is, to this day, I still feel is the best guitar solo ever recorded.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Eddie Van Halen fans would disagree, but
you know what? Eddie was good in his own right, but that particular solo, I mean, Eddie Van Halen had good chops. There's no doubt about it. He had some chunky riffs that are iconic to this day too. But that, to me, was the absolute best recorded solo. Hands down. You'll never change my mind.
never. So, growing up as a kid, I wasn't into like I just listened to kind of whatever was on the radio. And I grew up with two kinds of music in my house. My dad was from Alabama, so it was all country and western,
Nice.
old school country and western,
Country or western?
both. And my mom was Elvis, Beatles, that genre. She had all the albums, and I never really listened to anything except, if I had the radio on, whatever came on the radio, it was basically top 40, whatever crap. Until my mom passed and I moved in with my aunt and uncle, and my older cousin was the one that turned me into the man I am today.
Nice.
And this has nothing to do. I mean, he got me into Black Sabbath and Zeppelin and all of it. And a story not about Ozzy, but what really hooked me was, remember the Loop used to have like live concerts?
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
So he went out and he came back, and by the time he came back from the concert that he went to, they were replaying it on the Loop. And it was Iron Maiden.
Oh, wow. Yep.
So me, him, and my other two younger cousins sat in his room and jammed the entire concert.
Nice.
And his room was nothing special. It wasn't like all decorated and everything, except he had posters.
Very cool.
And he had the bifold doors, and on his doors, he had like Jimmy Page, which was a cool one because it was like the camera was just right. And I think it was like the white with the red roses jumpsuit, whatever thing he had on. But his
Yeah.
eyes were like red.
Nice.
And then years later, after I heard the whole thing about him buying what's his name's castle and whatever, I'm like, that is really cool now because it matches. But he had like Ozzy and Sabbath on there and Iommi, and that's what hooked me. He's the one that actually got me into it. So I was into Sabbath before the solo stuff. I'm all the early stuff is by far the best, but my favorites are with Zach, and it's just because I think Zach is like the god of thunder.
So you knock Randy Rhoads.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I listened to more of the older stuff than I did the earlier stuff.
For me, it's almost like three different bands.
Well, it's like every 2 years or whatever he had a different band almost.
Yeah, it's Ozzy liked to change it up, and Blizzard of Oz, Diary of a Madman. I would love to have just seen how Randy Rhoads would have progressed and how their music would have progressed over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Would they have went? Ultimate Sin, Bark at the Moon to me was total 80s glam. That was more glam, where Blizzard and Diary were kind of, they stood alone, man. They were metal, hard rock, but they were unique. They had this classical vibe to it and this heavy vibe to it and this vocal vibe to it. And then it went to this softer side. And Randy Rhoads was just a genius songwriter. And, it's kind of, what if there was no Ozzy? What if he never left Sabbath and Randy stayed with Quiet Riot? What would Quiet Riot have been? Would they have turned into Blizzard of Oz? There's so many things out there where you can look and go, the influence that Ozzy had was remarkable. And, and then, when Randy passed away and he got Jakey Lee, that was a totally different band. That sound was different. It was similar, but yet it was different. And then, fast forward to the Zach years. I mean, that was a totally different band. And then throw Gus G in the mix for the one release, and that was kind of a different band. But I think Ozzy realized at that point that, like, there's no replacing Zach at this point.
Well, and if you ever watch any of Gus G's like solo videos, his like mannerisms while he's playing and whatever, he tries to be like Zach.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fist up in the air and the way he picks sometimes, and that he's like was trying to copy Zach.
Yeah, and I didn't even know until like all the Birmingham stuff last year that Nuno Betancourt was the one that got away. He was the one that Ozzy asked to play, and Nuno said no. He was the only musician that ever told Ozzy no, which was kind of interesting because Nuno was an Extreme, and Extreme was an A&M artist, and I never even knew that Ozzy talked to Nuno. And it's like that was pretty wild.
I wonder if he ever kicked himself in the ass for that.
Supposedly not. Supposedly not. That's what he says anyway. But you know what? Nuno's had a pretty successful career. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to argue that Nuno's probably up there with the top 10 guitar players of all time. And what's funny is Nuno's brother, who looks nothing like him, is probably a better guitar player. Yeah, he is phenomenal. If you ever see Marie Betancourt, his niece, that's his brother's daughter, and he is phenomenal. I mean, he's like Spanish guitar picking and stuff is phenomenal. He's really good. That whole family, the Betancourt family, is super talented. But back to Ozzy. We're talking about Ozzy today. What would be? I would have to say that the Blizzard and the Diary albums are probably my favorite. But I loved all of them. I mean, every time these would come out, man, I would, like I said, I would head over to Cruisin' Music. I would buy my album or my CD. I would come home and I would listen to the whole thing at least 4 or 5 times before I'd go to bed. And by the next morning, I would pretty much know all the songs. You know, I remember walking through the halls with my cassette of Bark at the Moon. I was like the first one to get it. You know, it's like, hey,
well,
Bark
that's
at the
when
Moon.
you could actually read the lyrics because they came with, everything's not digital.
Read the liner, read the lyrics. You know, that's the other thing people don't realize about Ozzy. You know, people think, oh, he bit the head off a bat. Oh, he snorted a line of piss and ants. You know, yeah, he did all that shit. You know, he did a lot of crazy shit. But he also launched so many bands in the 90s. There would be no Motley Crue. There would be no Metallica. There would be no Cinderella. I mean, those are probably the 3 big ones if there was no Ozzy Osbourne. And here's the true story. When Ozzy would be on tour with these bands, and I know this from working in the business, that there's headlining acts that will tell their opening act, you're only getting half our PA, half our speakers. We're the headlining act. Our sound's going to be top notch. You're the opening act. Know your role. And that's pretty much the attitude a lot of bands take. Ozzy was like, fuck it, use everything. He wanted his bands to sound good. He was so confident in his own sound, in his own music, he didn't give a shit if the other bands sounded good.
Well, look at the bands he toured with: Metallica, Motley Crue.
Yep.
I mean, it's endless. And
well, he launched Shout of the Devil with Motley Crue, and it was Master of Puppets tour with the Ultimate Sin. And I remember seeing that. And man, Metallica, they were fucking awesome. I mean, they were just heavy. Just came out there and they put on a hell of a show. And I remember looking at the dude I was with at the show and going, man, how is Ozzy going to top that? They were fantastic. And Ozzy came out, and guess what? He blew it out of the water. He was Ozzy, man. And then Jake got really, really drunk and had to be taken away in an ambulance, and they had to cut the show short, and Ozzy was pissed.
That was my first tour that I actually worked stage for him.
Nice. Very nice.
Ultimate tour. And that was awesome. Every night was a new adventure.
Oh, he was crazy. That was when Ozzy was in full-blown Ozzy, man.
Oh, yeah.
That was before anybody tried to calm him down. He was a madman.
My first concert was wow.
I wasn't there, so I can't help you.
No, what came after Diary? Ultimate, right?
Ultimate Sin.
No.
Bark at the Moon.
Bark at the Moon. That was my first concert I attended. I did not work it, but I did attend it, and that's actually where I met the guy that I ended up started working for. So
nice.
That was awesome. And I enjoyed working the stage for all the bands that ever went to Alpine, Rosemont. What was the other one in up north here? Poplar Creek.
Yeah.
Aragon Brawl Room. And at the time, Tinley had just opened up not too long after all that.
Yeah.
And I only visited that once, and that was to see a band which I will remain nameless. I'm embarrassed by it.
The Jonas Brothers?
Did you go see the Backstreet Boys?
No, it wasn't that bad. Hootie and the Blowfish.
Oh, God.
I had to take the wife.
Go shave your mangina.
I know. And now he's a country singer.
I was going to say, he's probably better as a country singer.
He changed, man. He's a talented guy, though. I jest when I say that. He's a very talented musician, too. But he's no Ozzy, for God's sake.
Oh, God, no.
Who would be your favorite lineup, your favorite, touring lineup? Like, who is they're so diverse, but I have got to say that the Randy Castillo era, where it was Randy Castillo, Bob Daisley, and Zach, was probably my favorite live lineup because I never saw Randy live, but I saw Jake, I saw Zach, and I saw some other dude who I don't have no idea who he was. I was kind of like, who is this guy? He kicked ass.
On what, guitar?
Yeah, yeah. It
When
wasn't
was
Gus
it?
G. It was between Zach and Gus G. It
Oh.
was somewhere in between there. He toured just for a real quick, brief minute.
Yeah, that one I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, that was kind of. He was good though. I forgot his name. But yeah, Ozzy had some really good musicians. But Randy Castillo would probably be my favorite drummer. Tommy Aldridge was really good too, though. But Randy Castillo was, man, I saw him live, and his drum solo was unfucking real. I mean, he was. Everybody back in that era was like, Tommy Lee's the best drummer. Tommy Lee's the best drummer. I'm like, Tommy Lee's a great drummer. There's no doubt about it. But I honestly think Randy Castillo was a better drummer.
Yeah, I do. Once again, I agree
and
with
Tommy
that.
Lee is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything from Tommy. Tommy had the ability to make the drum. Tommy Lee, in my opinion, has the ability to make a drum set sing. Like, he can play drums like no other. He has a unique style. But Randy Castillo, he was a pounder. And I mean, drums are a rhythm section. Randy Castillo really created the rhythm section for Ozzy live. And like I said, his solo was probably the best drum solo I've ever seen in my life. You could catch it on YouTube. There's a few of them out there. And I mean, it went on. It was literally like seemed like a 15-minute solo. It was awesome.
The thing is that usually if you played for Ozzy, you were good enough to play for Ozzy.
Yeah.
And, not taking anything away from Zach, because I love Zach, but I would have loved to have seen where, like you said, Ed, where that band would have gone with Randy Rhoads.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, Randy was an innovator. Like you said, he was a great music writer. He kind of like Zach in their own way. They were born with the guitar in their hand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt that those musicians were destined to be musicians. They were destined. They found their calling.
Yeah, I mean,
like
you watch Zach play, and you see the intenseness in his. I mean, he's on it.
When you watch him play, it's like violent, almost the way he like picks and handles the guitar and hammers on and hammers off, and
yeah.
But he changes tools so many times.
Right.
Well, here's what I love about Zach. Zach is a great songwriter too. I mean, Zach comes up with the trunkiest riffs known to man. In that respect, I don't think anybody can touch Zach. But here's what I truly love about Zach. When Zach came into Ozzy, Zach was a skinny blonde dude with long hair that looked a little bit like Randy Rhoads. And,
just taller.
And he was taller. But when he was on stage and the lighting would turn to like the bluish hue to it, you would almost think you were looking at the tribute album. I mean, from far away.
Yeah.
Because he had this resemblance of Randy. And there was a lot of people out there who said Ozzy picked him because it reminds him of Randy. Well, Ozzy didn't like people saying that because he didn't pick him for that reason. He picked him because he was unique and he wanted him as a guitar player, and that's who he picked. And Ozzy was extremely protective of Zach in those years. He was very protective of Zach's image, who talked to Zach, who said what about Zach. He was very protective. And then when you get into the later years, that role reversed.
Yeah.
Ozzy became more fragile. Ozzy became protected by Zach, where Zach all of a sudden turned into this bearded Viking, with these massive arms. And I remember hearing a rumor that they were worried about Zach because he was a skinny, kind of lanky guy, and they were worried he was having a hard time coping on tour with the physical gruelingness of touring. And that combined with his drinking was really taking a toll, and they were worried about him. Like, will he be able to make it health-wise? Because, is he going to get like exhaustion or something like that? Well, then all of a sudden Zach stopped drinking, and I believe he had like a coming to Jesus moment that like his doctors told him, you need to stop drinking or you will die. And you look at your life when you're living that life, going, hey, I'm making a lot of money doing what I love. I don't want to die, so I think I'm going to stop drinking. He starts working out. Well, all of a sudden he turns into this bearded Viking with like these arms of steel and thighs of steel, and he became the protector of Ozzy at that point. Where I was watching Ozzy play at the Rams game a couple of years ago. I think it was like 3 years ago. He played for the NFL season opener. And if you watch the video, it's like, here's Ozzy on stage. He's kind of frail. They had him strapped in. He was kind of like tied to where he was standing so he wouldn't fall, and he elevated through the stage. But the whole tone changed when Zach came on that stage. It was like, and Ozzy actually changed when Zach came on that stage. It's like they became one again. And those two were definitely meant for each other to play together. There's no doubt about it. So, you look back on it and say, what would have happened if Randy would have still been here? And what would have happened if Jake would have stayed in the band? Which I'm thrilled to death that Ozzy and Jake finally made amends before Ozzy died. Because I heard their relationship was kind of tumultuous at times. And, there was a lot of accusations flying back and forth. But you know what? In Jake's defense, Jake handled it like a man. He never bad-rapped Ozzy. And Ozzy never really bad-rapped him. That all stayed like behind the shadows,
Right.
But then when he got invited to play, I think that changed his life, especially when Jakey Lee got shot.
That whole thing was kind of fucked up.
Yeah, when I heard that, I'm like, oh my God, what's the story here? Is Jake involved with like bad people now or whatever? He was walking his dog at night and stumbled upon some guys that were robbing something, and
I think it was somebody's motorcycle.
Yeah, they were trying to steal a motorcycle or a car or something, and he walked up on them and they shot him. Yeah. It's like they almost killed him, And then here you go, Jakey Lee, who's I guess has very bad arthritis in his hands from all the years of playing guitar, and he killed it with in Birmingham, which I thought was just awesome. That Birmingham show still brings a tear to my eye when I watch certain pieces of it, because it's like, I think Ozzy knew, man. I think Ozzy had some kind of premonition that like he needed to do this because the days were numbered. I really truly believe that.
Yeah, he wasn't far off.
No, I mean, that was just crazy to me when I found that news. I'm like, but he was just on stage. He was just kicking ass. He was put on a show of his life, man. I mean, who does that, man? Who sits in a chair and cranks out that type of a live performance, other than Paul Di'Anno from Iron Maiden? He did shows from a wheelchair, and it was just amazing.
I mean, there's only not even a handful of people, I think, that's done that.
Yeah. I mean, the only two that I can think of is Paul Di'Anno from Iron Maiden and Ozzy. That's it.
Axl Rose did.
He performed well. He was a broken leg or something. Yeah. I mean, these are guys that were. I mean, Paul Di'Anno was in a wheelchair. He was wheelchair bound.
Yeah, he was.
Ozzy was. He had mobility issues in these later years. Because of all the neck and back and all that stuff. But
people forget about his motorcycle or ATV accident.
He's done so much fucked up shit that it's kind of hard to remember all of them, probably, for people.
Well, the thing is, nobody knew until like these later years in Ozzy's life that Ozzy was a big outdoorsman. He loved being outside. That's why he wanted to move back to Birmingham, because his castle and his estate had so much land and had a big lake.
Just as the Alamo.
Yeah. Well, you saw the episode. I hope you saw the episode that he did not urinate on the Alamo.
But there's also officers that say that he did, and it's all.
Yeah, the police report cleared him of any wrongdoing, and he got that whole Texas Alamo ban lifted or whatever.
Yeah, well,
it's all rock and roll, man.
Yeah, money buys everything, but
I'm not saying he didn't poop and pee on things in his career, because there's definitely some stories about places.
There's videos of him doing it.
Yeah.
But it's just like the Dove. I mean, people don't believe that, but CBS banned him from going to their.
Oh, he almost got dropped.
Oh yeah, but
he almost got dropped for that. That was unheard of, man. But he was a master of PR, man. Master of PR, and he was a little bit batshit crazy. He really was.
A little.
He really was a little nuts.
Well, after getting all those rabies shots for the bat,
that's probably what did it.
Well, that was way before the bat when he bit the head off the Dove. That was before Blizzard of Oz came out. He was doing his tour with the record executives to meet him and everything. And they were all excited and everything. And it was supposed to be, he reached in his coat and pulled out this dove and released it as like a sign of peace to the record company that, was going to be this loving, nurturing relationship. He pulls it out and bites its head off.
Well, 3 of them.
And spits it on somebody.
Yeah, he had 3 of them, and one of them got stuck, so he grabbed it and then bit the head off of it.
Yeah.
2 of them got away. One didn't quite make it.
Yeah, but
George, is that you?
there was
Tastes like
another
chicken.
story that he did something in a record executive meeting too, where he like whipped his thingy out and just got bored and just decided to
No.
just sit there naked or
That
something.
doesn't surprise me
Yeah,
whatsoever.
he had there were some stories. I mean, if you Google Ozzy stories, you'll find like some just demented shit that he did. But you know what? It was Ozzy. I mean, it was definitely Ozzy, and he was a master at keeping his name out there, and you would hear these stories and all this kind of stuff. There was a time though when Ozfest was going on, and Marilyn Manson was really depressed that like all these church groups and everything were boycotting Manson and just doing all this stuff. And Marilyn Manson, yeah, he's a freak, but these rumors that were out there, which whether they were started by him or started by fans or by haters, who knows? But there were rumors that he had a rib removed so he could blow himself.
I did hear that one.
Yeah, there was a rumor that he was involved with the child trafficking ring and he would have sex and murder and eat children and all this. And I remember,
didn't hear that one.
Yeah,
but
I remember
that's-
seeing him on an interview and somebody asked him about that, and he just looked at him and he goes, "Are you serious?" He goes, "Do you honestly think that if I was murdering kids on his tour, that he had like a semi truck full of children that he would kill on tour?" And he's like, "Do you honestly think that if I was doing that I would actually be sitting here and I wouldn't be arrested and police wouldn't be investigating me?" He's like, "Be for real, you know?" But there was a rumor about Ozzy that was very similar. And do you remember when Ozzy used to have and I'm not trying to be politically incorrect, but Ozzy had the midget on stage with him?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he would tell the story that, they would hang the midget or kill the midget. That was part of the show. And he had a cop come up to him after the show and go, "Where do you get all these midgets?" Thinking that he was legitimately killing midgets, like that he had a license. And Ozzy was like, "Are you fucking serious, man?" He's like,
Must have been a good
I'm-
show.
I'm not killing midgets. I don't have like a truck full of midgets in the back that we bring out at every show and kill one of them. And I remember hearing that interview, and I just started laughing. I'm like, that's totally Ozzy. I mean, but I guess having gone through these Ozzy Osbourne type things, while they were on tour, Ozzy took Marilyn in the bus, and they had like this long conversation. And he talked like Marilyn Manson down off the tree. I'm like, I would have loved to have been a fly on that wall to hear that conversation of Ozzy Osbourne talking Marilyn Manson down.
Well, I can just tell what Marilyn Manson. I don't understand a word that motherfucker's saying, but it must be good.
Yeah, yeah. I remember seeing him at Ozfest, and we actually just act like we know what we were doing, and we ended up backstage with Marilyn Manson, and I was drinking shots with him. I remember I was really kind of like 3 sheets to the wind. It was hot. I was drinking Barry Weiss, and then we're drinking shots with Marilyn Manson. And he goes, "So what did you think of the show, man?" And I looked at him, and I was like, "You want to know the truth?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "You guys can't do this during the day." And he's like, "Well, why not?" And I go, "Because you look like a bunch of fucking dead chicks barbecuing." And he was like, he just looked at me, and he was like, he just busted out laughing. He goes, "What the fuck did you just say?" I said, "Dude, I'm just being real." I'm like, with the smoke and the fire and this and that and the other, I go, "You guys look like a bunch of dead chicks barbecuing up there during the day." I'm like, "You're meant to play at night. You need lights and stuff, you know?" And I go, and then on top of that, they're throwing sod at you. I'm like, I go, "Maybe it is good because, you were catching those fucking pieces of sod and throwing them back. That was pretty impressive." And we just had another shot, and then he walked off. But I wonder if Marilyn still thinks about that dead chick barbecuing comment. It was kind of funny.
Pretty sure he's never heard that one before.
Yeah, things you say when you're 2 sheets to the wind at a
Right.
concert, man. Well, that was a good show. We partied with Cold Chamber that night. We talked to them. We had a good time, man. I mean, those were the days, man. Cold Chamber that was another thing. Ozfest broke so many bands.
Oh, yeah.
When they would come out they would do Ozfest, and then they would come out with the CD of every band that was on Ozfest with one song. They would have a chance to do one song, and it was everything from Rock City Angels to Sepultura. I mean,
Yep.
It was like there was glam stuff on there. I think Crew was on there one year or somebody. There were glam bands mixed with like these heavy thrash bands like Cold Chamber that were on Ozfest. And the CDs were amazing, and you got the coupon at Ozfest to mail in for it and stuff. I remember one year they were giving them away. You had to be at Ozfest, and then you got this coupon you mailed in with like $3 for shipping, and you got the Ozfest CD, something like that. But I have a couple of them. I went to, I think, 96 and 97 I was at.
I was only at one. I don't remember the year. and truthfully, I don't even remember who played,
Yep.
except they always had the small stage out in the parking lot,
Yeah.
and it was like, I don't want to say the no name bands, but they were kind of like no name band. They were newer bands, right?
Yep.
So when we got there, we missed like most of the bands that played on the opening stage or on the outside stage. But the one band that we saw, and we got him right when they started, was Slipknot.
Nice.
Before they made it big
Uh,
in the orange jumpsuits and whatever. And after that tour is when they exploded.
well, yeah, Ozfest gave all these bands like promotion, man.
And they sounded like shit.
Really.
I don't know if it's because it was on the other stage and the sound quality was crap or whatever, but they sounded
Wow.
horseshit.
Yeah. Those were the days, man. Yeah, Ozfest that was a great show. I went with my buddy Adam one year, and Adam was a party animal, and he that's where we discovered Barry Weiss Ale, and we had a good time. I remember by the time Sabbath came on, though, the weed smoke in that place was so thick it looked like fog over the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
And when Sweet Leaf came on, it was like instant headache. It was like, it was like that whole place went nuts. And it was like, this was before the legalization of marijuana. And I mean, there had to be enough marijuana to fund a small country at that show.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy, man. That was, we had a headache. We were driving home, and I remember we were like, man, we don't smoke weed. That just did not act good with us with the Barry Weiss Ale. And plus, you're drinking all day, and then by the time the nighttime comes and Sabbath was finished, it's like your
done.
hangover was already setting in from
Right.
like the morning, you know. Yeah, that was those were great shows though. And Ozzy used to have the coolest videos before his show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he would do these homemade videos where he would be like in Pulp Fiction. He would be with Madonna. He would be like a trans person doing weird shit. He would be in movies, and you know, he would be floating by in a spacesuit, giving the finger to somebody like Tom Hanks, like that movie with Tom Hanks where they get stuck in space. And Ozzy's like, "Let me in, you motherfucker!" And he's knocking on the door, flipping him the bird and shit. It's like you would be cracking up before the Ozzy concert. He had these awesome videos he would start his shows with.
To answer your question about who our favorite lineups would be,
Yeah.
I don't really have a favorite bass player, so you can just pick whichever one you want. But it would have to be Zach.
Nice.
Drummer, I think he played with them on one tour to fill in for somebody, but I seen him with the Sabbath reunion tour.
Oh, okay.
And it was, I don't even remember his name. It was some young Greek kid. And you have to look him up.
Huh.
The guy, you were talking about like how, was it Castillo?
Yeah, Randy
Was like a pounding fucking beast.
Yeah.
This guy, oh my God, I've never seen anybody play drums like he did.
You sure it wasn't the guy he ended with? That was
I'm
a
not
permanent?
sure. I don't know
Yeah, that guy
if he was
pounds,
still
man.
on.
That guy he kicks ass. I mean, Ozzy always had top-notch musicians.
But that would be, pick a bass player, and then that would be my lineup.
Well, Ozzy had some great bass players, man. He had Rudy Sarzo. He had Bob Daisley. He had, what's that guy's name? The Crab dude. He's with Metallica now. He was in Ozzy.
Oh,
He
yeah,
played
yeah,
with
yeah.
Ozzy for a while.
I'd probably take him then. I forgot
Yeah.
he was on there.
Yeah, he's a good bass player. Yeah, Ozzy's had fantastic musicians. I mean, guitar, he had Brad Gillis. He had Bernie Torme for a while. Great musicians. Just really, really great musicians.
Okay, so here's a question for you guys. You know, I'm sure it's just not me. If you hear like a certain song, doesn't matter what song it is, you can like, you have one memory of that specific song that puts you in a certain place, or you were doing something, or something about that song you think of every time you hear it. Whether it's the video or like when you bought it or whatever. You understand?
Kind of.
Nope. Say it again.
There's certain, for me anyways, there's certain songs, when I hear them, certain memories come back. Whether it's somebody, and I'll give you an example, Fly High Michelle from Enough's Enough. Every time I hear that song, I think of the girl that I liked that was named Michelle. It was one of my best friend's cousins. and we actually had like a long distance relationship, kind of, sort of. So every time I hear that song, that's who I think of, or a video, or whatever.
That's a good question.
So there's some Ozzy songs that I just think of certain things. Most of them are videos or parts of a video. So like No More Tears, it's the whole video, but it's basically Zach playing in that video with it just like flooding the room and Ozzy sitting back with his glasses on this throne watching him play.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to say Bark at the Moon brings back a lot of memories. Bark at the Moon was definitely a video that was a fun time in life. A lot of good memories associated with Bark at the Moon.
Surprisingly, I didn't like the video Bark at the Moon only because it reminded me too much of Michael Jackson's Thriller.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, a little bit of that in there.
I don't know,
Vibe.
but I'd have to say Diary of a Madman, and it's not just because it was my first album that I purchased, but way back then, the makeup that they had for Diary on Ozzy, I actually tried to mimic for a Halloween costume one year.
Nice.
Okay, and the one thing I always had a question about with that, and maybe somebody can shed some light on it, and it might be because of Quiet Riot or Iron Maiden, but if the album is called Diary of a Madman, how come he's not in a straitjacket?
Because he wasn't institutionalized. It was him in his castle on the album cover. He wasn't institutionalized. He was wild.
But if it was a diary, that means he had to be in somewhere where he was diagnosed as a madman.
Well, he was just writing. He was writing his memoirs.
Okay.
I'll
accept it.
Weird stuff. Weird stuff.
It's all rock and roll, man.
Well, there's a funny Ozzy story with. You ever hear Phil Lewis from LA Guns tell his Ozzy story?
Mm-mm.
They're both Brits, right? So they had something in common, and they were on tour. And Ozzy went to LA Guns, and he's like, Sharon had him on a tight leash. He wasn't able to party or anything, and he went up to Phil and Tracy, and he's like, "You guys got a bump?" And they're like, "You don't say no to Ozzy." Yeah, we do. He said, "Well, give it to me." They're like, "Oh, we got to go back to the bus and get it." So they get on the bus, and they're like, "Fuck, what are we going to do? We don't have any cocaine on our bus." What the fuck? Ozzy wants cocaine, right? So they got aspirin, and they crushed up some aspirin. And they're like, into a fine powder. They got the little razor on there, like made this like look exactly like cocaine. They wrapped it up in a little paper, brought it back. And they're like, "Here you go, Ozzy." And they're like, "You going to share it with us?" And Ozzy looked at him and he goes, "I'm the fucking rock star here." And he grabs it on their hand. He goes to the bathroom and he comes out with all this aspirin on his nose and shit. Sharon sees him. She goes ballistic. It's like this funny story. You can see it when Phil on some of his live stuff, on live shows, he tells this story, and it is hilarious. But that line where he just grabs, he goes, "I'm the fucking rock star here." That's totally Ozzy.
Well, he got rid of his headache.
Yep, for sure. They're like, yeah, he snorted urine, he snorted ants, he snorted aspirin, he put a lot of shit up his nose. It's a wonder that man lived as long as he did with some of the stuff he did.
I don't know about this cocaine, but my headache went away.
Well, when I met him, he had his agents and stuff were walking around asking people if they had a little pick-me-up for Ozzy because he had jet lag. And I remember this one girl goes, "I got some no-dos in my purse." And the guy looked at her and was like, "No, we don't.
No.
It's not going to do shit.
That's not what we're looking for."
Oh, you could have gave him red M&Ms.
But Ozzy was the most generous person, man. When I met him, it was raining out. He was coming back to his limo. He was jet lagged. He was tired. And there was a handful of us waiting for him that were left from this studio appearance he did. And he came outside and he looked at everybody, and you could tell he was kind of out of it. He was tired. And he goes, "What are you guys waiting for?" And we're like, "We're waiting for you, Ozzy." And his people like grab him and they're like, "Come on, Ozzy, we need to go. You need to get back to your hotel." And he went from like zero, like laid back, "Oh, what are you guys here for?" to "Shut the fuck up. and these are my people. Go get me a fucking umbrella and a marker. And he stood out there in the rain under an umbrella that he had his people go get umbrellas for us too. We stood by his limousine. He did Ozzy trivia. He asked us like Ozzy trivia questions.
How many ants did I snort?
Yeah, it was hilarious. And then when he would meet you and talk to you, he looked at you straight in the face and said, "Is there anything else I can do for you? Do you need something signed? Do you have a question?" He was just, and he stayed out there till every fan got taken care of, which I thought was, and at the time, man, I mean, this is in the world of the mega superstars, the Michael Jacksons, the Janet Jacksons, the Stings, these mega bands that draw like super stuff. And he was on the, I believe it was the tribute promotional tour. And you can tell he was distraught. He had lost Randy Rhoads. He was still figuring things out, But he was just the most gracious, humble human being. You would never know that he was this iconic megastar, billionaire. You know what I mean?
Well,
he just was not built like that.
When I worked the stage shows for him, I think it was like 2 or 3 of them I did. Every one of his shows, every stagehand or roadie or whatever was, working for him, everybody got fed. Everybody got, and it wasn't just, catered in shit.
Oh, no, Ozzy was top notch, man.
It was chef made, on hand type of shit. And he thanked everyone. And he would look you, like you said, he would look you in the eye and thank you. It wasn't, yeah, thanks, buddy, here,
Yeah, he was genuine. And he came from all that story about him coming from humble beginnings. It's gospel truth, man. That's where he came from. He never forgot where he came from. And I know so many people that came from a middle class, background that became wealthy, that turned into complete shitheads.
Most of them.
That completely turned into like just total jags, and forgot where they came from and forgot who got him there. Ozzy never forgot who got him there. And when he used to say at the end of his concerts, "Good night, I love you all," he meant it. Which was, and I remember somebody telling me that. They're like, man, when he says that at the end of the show, he fucking means it. And I was like, yeah, but that's just like something, it's just like, no, he means it. If you're a fan of Ozzy Osbourne, he loves you. He truly loved his fans. And I truly believe he never even had any idea how rich he was. I mean, I think he had his people handle that. He just lived a lifestyle he wanted to live. That's all.
Oh yeah,
And what a ride, man! What a ride. And it's I don't have Ozzy money, but I'm so glad that I was able to live along and go on that ride with him. That I was able to experience those albums one after another, and I was able to experience him live so many times. And I was able to listen to his music and know where his lyrics were coming from. And I read books about him and read books that he wrote. And it was such a joy in life to be part of the Ozzy Osbourne journey, for real.
Does anybody know offhand how many solo albums, not solo, but Ozzy Osbourne albums he did?
I think it was like close to, it was a lot. There was a lot. I think it was over 15, I think. I mean, ask Siri. Hey, Siri, how many albums did Ozzy Osbourne do? 13. Go figure.
That's what I thought it was, 13.
Yeah. But I wonder if that doesn't include the bootlegs, I guess.
Or live.
Or his live
Or
stuff.
live
Or
stuff.
his, God, I got picture discs, man, from back in the day. Remember picture discs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple of, I got the Ultimate Sin. I got a Diary of a Madman picture disc. Yeah, I'll never part with those.
The thing is, do they even make or can you even find the players anymore?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Vinyl's making a big comeback. I was actually, you know where the vape shop is, where James' Vape Shop is?
Yeah.
2 doors down from that, a guy opened a record store, and he sells turntables, and
I've never seen it open.
I've never seen it open either.
Yeah, you got to go on the
there.
weekends usually. He's open on the weekends. He's a school teacher. That's his retirement job.
We actually have one here.
What, a turntable? Oh, yeah.
We got a turntable that would go with that system.
Yep. Yeah, because I went in there, and I almost bought Blizzard of Oz. I was like, they got a Blizzard of Oz album? But albums... Man, I remember albums were like $4.99. It was like scraping up $5 was a pain. They're like $30 now for an album.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like,
even if not more.
Yeah,
especially if you had a picture album.
Yeah.
My God.
There's a guy at work that he's a weird cat, but he
Meow.
yes, he has rooms in his house or of the walls that he has album covers, and it's like each section is like a different genre of music and year of music,
Nice.
and he's like looking for, I think it was 3 metal albums that he wanted, but he doesn't want the record. He just wants the cover
Wow.
because that's what he has on the wall. One of
That's
them's
crazy.
like Lita's first album.
Nice.
I
Lita Ford.
can't remember what I think one was like the Plasmatics or some shit.
Well, that's another one. Lita Ford. I mean, Ozzy resurrected her career. She was huge with the Runaways, and when she came out with her solo career, people were like, "Oh, she's cool." But then she did the duet with Ozzy and launched into stardom.
Right.
Again, you know. Wasp was another band Ozzy launched. You know, Ozzy helped them out when they were young in their career. Ozzy did so much for so many. And that's why when people are like, you know, they talk shit about him, I'm like, shut up, because you don't even know half of like what this man did. And then like Dale Earnhardt, like Elvis Presley, there's all the stories of the shit he did that no one knows about, that he kept silent. You know, the donations he made, the families he helped, the cancer victims, the hospitals he helped. You know, I mean, there's so much of that stuff he did, and it's like, so you know, you call him the, well, you know, he was just devil worshipping drug addict. No, he wasn't.
No.
He believed in God, which there's plenty of interviews out there, even back in the day when he was accused, which I find really funny because here's the real kick in the ass of life. Jerry Falwell, Christian minister, Mr. Righteous, starts, you know, his stuff with the PMRC and the labels and how bad Ozzy is and the devil worshiper and this, that, and the other. Where'd Jerry's career end up?
Yeah. Oh, that's it.
Wasn't he banging teenage girls in his ministry?
Yeah.
And he got caught, you know.
With his pants down.
Jimmy
pants down.
Swaggart, you know, all these ministers that came after Ozzy, they were like bigger shitbags than they even accused Ozzy of being.
Well, how do you take the light off yourself when you put the light on somebody else?
Right.
And of course, just like that poor mother that lost her son to suicide, she decided to blame Ozzy for it.
Yeah.
You know, he won in court on that because if you listen to the lyrics and the words, it's against suicide. It's
Right.
not for it.
Right.
And it was about the, what's his name from AC/DC,
Yeah.
you know, and everyone wanted to attack him because he was an easy target. But if you look at Ultimate Sin cover, what is he holding? 2 crosses.
Yeah. Well,
No, he always had a cross with him.
he always had a cross.
He's always had crosses, but I mean, he's holding a big cross, not a little, you know, trinket. You know, and everyone, oh, he's the, you know, Prince of Darkness. Yeah, but that's an
that was
moniker.
all gimmicks to sell records, man. You know, and the thing is though is he truly practiced a Christian lifestyle where these ministers that attacked him really didn't practice a Christian lifestyle.
No,
And it's kind of funny because, you know, who had the ultimate send off and had an entire city in Europe like based around them and has a year-long museum exhibit in Birmingham. I mean, not these ministers,
no.
not the politicians who accused him of doing bad things, but Ozzy. I mean, that's how he related with people. People truly loved him.
Because he was a people.
Right, exactly. He never forgot where he came from. And believe me, I know a lot of pricks out there who came into a lot of money and just turned into complete assholes. And then all of a sudden had this lifestyle that, well, you know, I'm entitled to this lifestyle because I've worked for it and earned it. And half of it's fucking daddy money. You know, it's like it's generational wealth. It's not even real wealth that they accumulated. You know, it's funny. It's a funny world. But then you have people like Ozzy who came from literally nothing.
Yeah.
The guy worked in a slaughterhouse and worked in a car horn factory and ended up being this mega rock star that's going to be iconic forever, you know. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I think it was important today that we got together and we celebrated Ozzy Day and told some stories. And, you know, my favorite line, though, from Phil Lewis is, I'm the fucking rock star here. I could just totally see Ozzy doing that, man. That's pretty damn cool.
Sharon!
Oh, yeah, the iconic Sharon.
Yeah.
Well, my other favorite funny Ozzy moment is when they're they're like he's getting ready for the stage show and they're reviewing the stage show and it's like a Christmas show, and this sleigh comes riding in and Ozzy's looking at it. You could tell he was just like, "What the fuck are they doing?" And then there's Bubbles and he's like, "Bubbles?
Bubbles?
Bubbles, Sharon, I'm the Prince of fucking darkness. You give me Bubbles?" He's like, "What's next? I'm going to be in there giving him a hand job in the sleigh." It's like, that I thought was just totally hilarious because that, once again, total Ozzy. And then there's another scene where he's backstage right around that same time, and he's rocking a chair and they're interviewing Zach, and Ozzy rocks the chair back and falls off the chair. And Zach just shakes his head and he goes, "There's never a dull moment with this guy." And something to that effect. And they walk in there to pick Ozzy up off the floor. And he was sober. It was not like he was drunk. He just rocked the chair back a little too far.
He's a kid. He was a kid at heart, and everything else. I mean, geez, just watching him, just to watch him for 5 minutes would be, an amazing thing. Just in his everyday life, not on stage, just being at home watching TV or something, and just.
Honestly, when people say like, if the genie popped out of the lamp, and you had 3 wishes, I mean, one of my wishes might be, and I don't quote me on this, but it might just be to be Ozzy's real friend in real life, because he was just such an interesting dude. I didn't realize that he was really into shooting. Like, he was a big airsoft gun guy. Like, I'm not talking about like the $49 Daisy BB guns.
Right.
I'm talking about like the $1,000 air rifles that he used to make his own targets, and he would sit in the backyard and shoot like for hours. And Sharon would come out there and like bring him a drink and stuff, and he would just be out there just shoot. He loved to shoot. And I'm like, how cool would it be to like go to the gun range with Ozzy Osbourne?
Well, how cool would it be just to be his neighbor?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, ask his neighbor in some of those Osbourne episodes when he throws a tree through their window and he does all kind of shit.
Yeah, you might want to retort that comment.
No, you know what? I'd still look at Ozzy threw a tree through my window.
I still have it. It's in this room back here.
I think he lived next door too to Pat Boone, and they were friends. They were like good friends, Ozzy and Pat Boone.
Isn't it like
buddies.
one of the reasons why Pat Boone did like the metal
Yeah.
album or some shit?
Yeah.
Which was bizarre.
Well, Sharon is probably one of the best managers in the music business. I mean, people don't realize that. She didn't manage Ozzy. She managed a lot of bands.
Oh, she managed everybody. She did. And I'm talking managed Ozzy. She got him under control. She got him in line again, making more money than he would have ever done probably with Sabbath.
Oh, she rebuilt him.
Yeah.
He was going to die in a hotel room in Los Angeles, man. That was his destiny, and she was the intervention.
And even through their rough time when he attacked her, she stuck with him.
Well, and here's the thing that's kind of cool about that is when you look at that, and I mean, we all know, right? We're 3 guys, right? Marriage is not easy. Okay, marriage is definitely not easy, and marriage has ups and downs and extremes and highs and lows and all that stuff. Well, then you couple that with being famous, and it becomes even more difficult. And everybody talks about like the time Ozzy attacked her when he was he was drunk. He was, not that that's an excuse to ever attack your wife, but that's pretty common. People get drunk, they attack their wives. Later in life, like, I don't know, it's got to be some years now, but later in life, he cheated on her, and they almost broke up. She kicked him out, and they were seriously contemplating divorce. And Ozzy was like, I fucked up. He owned it. And he went back and groveled, and they worked it out, which I think is really cool. Not that he cheated on her, but that they were able to work it out, that they were actually a real couple with real life issues.
Right.
You know what I mean? They actually had been through a lot of shit, and she loved him, and he loved her. There's no doubt about it. You know what I mean? He made a mistake, and, I remember hearing about that. But then there's also the times when she had cancer, and Ozzy was I remember an interview with him just sobbing at the thought of losing her.
Mm-hmm.
And he was basically like, I don't want to be here. If she's not here, I don't want to be here. The love between those two was absolutely amazing.
It was real.
It was real. Yeah, it was real, and it was special. And, it's, you can say what you will about her or him or whatever, but I truly believe they're just two beautiful humans that found each other and did a lot of good. I mean, yeah, I've heard the stories. Sharon Osbourne is a bitch to deal with if you're on her bad side. She will crush you in the music business and in the business world. I mean, she walked off The View, for God's sakes, and basically told the biggest morning TV show, "Go fuck yourself. I don't need you."
More people should say that.
And, right? Yeah. I mean, I don't know how she lasted that long with those bitches in that room, but Sharon, there's no fucks given there, man.
Right.
She don't need anybody.
I was gonna say she doesn't need that shit.
Right. They were lucky to have her. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Oh, man.
And,
She's the
in
queen
her
of
perspective,
freaking darkness.
yeah, exactly. You know, and but she literally just basically said, "Go fuck yourself." Walked off set, man. Was like, "I'm done. I don't need you." And then they tried to bad rap her, and she was like, and she was no bones about it. I think she basically said to him, "Fuck you." You know, I don't need your bullshit, and you're an asshole. So she was very vocal, and she doesn't care, that's real to me, man. I love people that are real. Say what's on your mind. You
Right.
know, don't sugarcoat it. Don't politically correct it. Say what's on your mind.
Yeah, and if you feel those people were feeling one way, and she felt the opposite, and she felt offended, and she fought back instead of go cower in the corner somewhere. She
Right.
fought back, and she pretty much owned it.
Well, that's the thing is I think they had a very, very, very unique marriage and relationship, and I mean, he trusted her wholeheartedly with everything, because there was a time, man. I'll admit, when the Osbournes first came on, being the type of Ozzy fan I was pissed because I thought, why are you exploiting Ozzy? His whole family's exploiting him. And then I finally got the gist of why they were doing it, that it was a reality TV and they were being innovative with reality TV and doing their own take on it. And Ozzy was okay with it. But there was a time where I'm like, why are you exploiting Ozzy like this? And why are you trying to make him look stupid? And it came out, it was entertainment.
Yeah,
A lot of that shit was staged and, it was for entertainment. But a lot of it was real and raw, which showed, hey, we all got families, we all got kids, right? It's not easy. You go through ups, downs, hills, valleys, whatever. We saw the Osbournes go through it. I remember there was an episode where Jack had a pocket knife and Ozzy was pissed at him about a pocket knife and took it away from him and hid it and wouldn't let him leave the house with it. And then an episode where the daughter came home drunk and she got a tattoo and he's like, "Don't show your mother that." It was like they were a real family. There were like real family moments in there, and I think that's why they were so popular. Is there was this mass relation because people were like, "Hey, I went through that," or "Hey, I experienced something like that," and the Osbournes became real. So you went from rock star Ozzy to talk show dad or reality TV dad Ozzy, and then back to rock star Ozzy. It's just what a career, what a life worth celebrating.
Well, then they did the paranormal thing, two or three of them, and
Yep.
I loved every bit of it, of course.
Yep. That
Right
was
up my
funny.
alley.
Yeah, Ozzy there was some classic moments on there. Their podcast was really good. The Osbournes are just entertaining people, all in general, But I'm curious to see, I mean, moving forward, thinking about the future, there's unrecorded tracks out there. There's some vocal tracks that nobody's set music to yet. That's sitting in a vault in his studio, or sitting in a machine somewhere. Will Sharon find it and release it?
She don't have to find it. I'm sure she knows
Well,
it.
Yeah, she knows about it. But will she release it to the public and to the masses, to the fans? Will there be in a couple of years some new Ozzy music? It would be incredible.
Well, you figure for every song that he wrote, there's probably 10 more that never got published.
Right.
Yeah.
And, even to me, it would be like us trying to do a. Alrighty then.
Thank you.
Telling us the time. Anyway, it'd be like us wanting to release a bloopers reel, and we never do, and then all of a sudden something happens and someone finds it and releases it.
Yeah.
We might have some followers then.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, the funny thing is, too, is like where his musical path took him at the end in regards to recording. Ozzy really didn't have a true band that toured at that point. So he recorded with all these other musicians, and they collaborated and did this stuff digitally and emailed it back and forth, per se, and worked on it and produced it and everything. It was amazing, man. The music that he released Patient Number 9 is up there with my top. I mean, there was some good music on Patient Number 9.
Speaking of that, that's funny that you bring that up because Banshee Defense is giving a 9% discount because of Patient Number 9.
Patient Number 9, really?
Patient Number 9.
Way to go, Devin. Way to go, Panzer.
Yeah.
That's actually cool.
So today, I don't know how long the discount is for, but it's a 9% discount because of Patient Number 9 and Ozzy Osbourne.
That's cool.
And
that is very cool.
Man, what are the chances you would bring that up?
Yeah. That was totally unscripted. That was unscripted.
You caught me off guard with it.
Good plug for Banshee Defense.
Yeah, well,
we'll talk to Devin and the CEO over there, and if you mention the podcast and Patient Number 9, you get a 9% discount. We'll talk to Devin about that, about extending it for not podcast people.
All right, I will bring that up to him.
Yeah.
I should call him right now.
Get him on the phone. Put him on speakerphone. Let's get a guest. Let's see
if he'll even answer.
You want me to call him? He might see my number and be like, "Oh, it's Ed," because he don't like you.
Hey.
Hey Siri, call Devin Whitty.
See if you can connect to. I'll turn off the rack. See if we can connect to my Rockville.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Devin, hey, it's Ed. You're on the Not Podcast tonight. We're doing a special Ozzy Osbourne tribute, and your dad here was saying that you were doing a 9% discount for Patient Number 9 today, and we were wondering if you could extend that discount to anyone who mentions the Not Podcast Ozzy special. So, give us a call back, man. We need you as a guest. We got to have you on here, too, brother. Bye-bye. Cool.
Let's see if he calls back. And if you do, like I said, try to connect on Rock Mix on your Bluetooth, and that will come right through there.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't realize Devin was such a big Ozzy fan. When he went to Texas, he brought back some really cool... Oh, here he is. Devin.
Hey, what's up? Sorry, I was downstairs. I was away from my phone.
Oh, hey, no problem. Hey, man, you are live on the Not Podcast. How you doing, bud?
Oh, pretty good. How about you?
Good. Hey, your dad was telling us you were doing a discount for Banshee Defense for a 9% off tonight for Ozzy.
Yeah, it was just for today, 9% off, and the coupon code was Beer Thief.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Hey, we were wondering if you could extend that to our viewers, because this will hit, we're going to release this probably tonight. And if you could just do like another 24 hours if any listeners want to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I could extend it, no problem.
Cool, man. You're the man. When are you going to come on our show, bud?
Whenever you guys just ask me.
Cool. We're gonna have to do a shooting episode.
Absolutely.
For sure.
That'd be
Awesome. I know with YouTube has some pretty strict stuff about like you can't show firearms or lift them or hold them or something. But yeah, we'll work around that, man. We'll work around it. Bring some stuff in. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, with that 9%, do me a favor. Get me a patch. I'll pay you tonight. I'll walk over.
I don't need money. I'll just give you one. What color do you want?
What color you got?
Well, which one do you want? I have PVC or I have the leather ones?
Probably the PVC.
Okay, PVC, I have black and white, and then I think I have black and red that's left. Let me see. Yeah, black and red.
Black and red be cool.
All right, cool.
All right, thanks, brother.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Outstanding. Yep. So for all our listeners, hey, if you want some cool swag from Banshee Defense or some firearm stuff, that discount will be extended for not podcast viewers. So we will promote that as well.
Nice.
What a beautiful thing.
Beautiful thing. Well, I don't know, man, unless anybody's got anything else to say, we'll wrap it up for the night.
Yeah, I think so. Eyes up, eyes out.
Yep. God bless you, Ozzy, man. We miss you. And,
God bless Sharon.
yeah, God bless the whole Osbourne family, man. It's a journey, man. Losing a parent really sucks. It's really sucks because this hit so hard for me because I lost my dad on the 13th and Ozzy passes away on the 22nd. And I was just like, I was devastated. I was like, holy shit. So when I saw these people, back in the day, a year ago, people were making these comments about how Kelly Osbourne looked or how Jag looked. I'm like, these people just lost them. Shut the fuck up and let them grieve. And it's happy to see that it looks like Jack's doing pretty good. It looks like Sharon's doing pretty. I shouldn't even say doing pretty good, man. They're surviving, and that's all you can do after something that devastating. But yeah, God bless the family. God bless the Osbournes. And Ozzy, we will never say goodbye. We're just gonna say see ya someday. See you on the other side.
Nice.
And on that, we'll end everybody. Like, subscribe, comment. Take advantage of the discount at Banshee Defense, man. We're all good.
Yep, everybody enjoy it. Here's our new.
Nice. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Oz out.
Peace out.